gonna go caveman. I do have a question.
Blowing out the pretty.
Will this change for the draft?
This would be different for the draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we know what type of cut we're going with for the
Yeah,
draft?
I'm gonna keep my hair. I'm trying to grow my hair back out. I used to have super long hair when I was younger, so I'm growing it back out to longer than it was when I was playing in college. But I will have a shape up. My beard to be nice and trim and everything. So I look first overall ready.
That's what I want to hear.
You ain't gonna
be
in there that long.
This was the off season. I'm not
Good right.
I'm not here to impress anything. I'm enjoying whether it's training or traveling. So that's what this whole thing
That's
is.
work mode.
Yeah.
You gotta go to work mode.
I love it.
My solitude mode.
I love it.
Yeah.
The legend. Let's talk about the legend of Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it could have started freshman year, taking the ball from Kennedy on a 4-1 run.
Yeah.
Start there. It could start, at USC, winning the Heisman Trophy. But I'm gonna take you back, not way further, but a little bit. Let's go to the Washington Catholic Championship.
What up, James?
Right, sophomore year.
Yeah.
Right, you get injured.
Yeah.
That game 3 lead changes late in the game. Take us back to that time and what was going through your mind as you're trying to win that game against the Mather, who had tons of NFL and college stars on it.
One of my teammates.
One of your teammates
was Marshawn. He was on that
Talk
team.
a little bit about that night, because that seemed to start the legend of Caleb Williams.
Yeah, so the year before was my freshman year, and we went to the championship, loss. It was on my birthday, November 18th, to St. John's. They had a bunch of NFL guys and college guys. And then the next year was the same thing. Same day, my birthday again. November 18th, we went down 20 points in the first quarter.
Goddamn.
Quick, too. I mean, it was like 6 minutes left in the first quarter. We were down 20. 8 minutes, I think, actually. So we go down. After we go down, it's more or less a take one drive at a time, focus on what you can control. There's a lot of ball left. It's something that you're always preaching. As everybody knows here, you can only win the game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So that's what it came down to. And we ended up getting it was the craziest probably game I've ever been a part of. That and Texas game. Get to third quarter, we start coming back. We throw a couple touchdowns, run a couple touchdowns, things like that. Then we get to fourth quarter, and that's the craziest fourth quarter, the craziest 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
So you hurt your foot.
I hurt my
in
foot
the fourth quarter.
I hurt my foot late in the quarter.
Yeah.
I had a turf toe, and I got bent up by one of the DNs. I can't remember who the DN was, but I got bent up at he called me from behind, and my foot got caught under him, and my toe went. Felt like all of my toes were broken, but it's just my big toe. I had a little turf toe probably, and then so after that, 2 minutes, I'm hurt. We drive down, we score on a 2 minute. I thought the game was over. They drive down on 2 minutes. You feel like Tom Brady. You always watch Tom Brady in his fourth quarter, 2 minute miracles of just how precise and detailed he was in those 2 minutes. So we drive down, and it's 30 seconds left on the clock or something like that, 40, 30 seconds, and then they return a kickoff, and the dude breaks. I think he broke 6 tackles on the kickoff. Took it down the sideline. Whole stadium goes crazy, and my tears are gone because I was crying tears of joy, like oh shit, we won this. It's over. And then we drive down, or they drive down with the return. They score. So my tears just stop, and I'm like, okay, we have time on the clock. I mean, it's high school and 20 seconds or so left on the clock. And then my only thing to my offensive coordinator, because he's up in the box, my only thing to him, to see everybody crying in the huddle, all the offensive linemen. I would never forget Olu Fashanu was my left
top 10
tackle.
pick.
Yep, another top 10 pick, my guy. He was crying because we thought we lost in the huddle before we go out. And so the only thing I said to my offensive coordinator was get me in range. We hit around the 50 yard, 60 or negative 40 yard mark, and I knew I was in range. And so
That's a hell of a range.
For a high school kid, sophomore.
I knew I was in range because we also practice it every week and things like that. So I knew I was in range, and once I was in range, I felt like the game was over, to be honest. And so I dropped back, slid up, slid backs. When I slid up the second time, I let the ball go. And you see it, you just watch, and I start, falling off. I let it go. My weight carries me, and I start falling off to the left. And I see the ball start coming down, and I thought I overthrew it, to be honest. So the ball starts coming down, and then I see John Marshall, play safety at Navy, play wide receiver for me. I see the ball coming down, and we were wearing white gloves, and DeMatha was wearing like blue and red and stuff. And so all you see is the white gloves go above everybody, and then I knew he caught it, and I dropped to the ground.
I love the fact that he said we were -40, we had the -40, and I thought I overthrew it.
Yeah, I did. I was juiced too. It was the craziest game ever. Adrenaline is going, and when I let the ball go, I was like, oh, this is out of bounds. Yeah, but it landed perfectly.
Speaking of coming up and being young, like as I was reading and heard some of your interviews, like Randy Moss was just a natural athlete out the womb.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
It seems like you were created in a lab. Cause something you said you had nutrition. You had 10 nutritionists, 5 a.m. workouts, 6 p.m. workouts. Your parents had a facility. Like you were built.
Yeah.
To be the Heisman Trophy winner, #1 pick.
Yeah, so I played football for 10 years straight, or 9 years straight, for just complete fun, just like, I enjoy and love football. And then we lost a game in FBU to Harrison Bailey. He played quarterback at UNLV this past year, and he was this big phenom quarterback. He was 6'3" already, or whatever he is now, 6'5", whatever he is now. And we lost to him in that loss, and the experience that I had through that loss, from losing to him, but also I was the coach that I played for didn't play me, that game, because my parents made a decision that we were going to go to, San Antonio or wherever we were. I think we were in San Antonio at that time. San Antonio a day early, so he didn't play me on offense. I played on defense, and we lost. And they were also playing daddy ball, because the QB was also the offense coordinator's son, and so it crushed me. And so that's what made me switch to QB. After that, it was
Put you in the lab.
It put me in the lab. I told my dad I don't ever want to have that feeling again, feel like that again. I want to switch to QB, and I was crying, and he asked me, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah." And he asked me again a little later, and he said, and I said, "Yeah," again. And from there on out, my dad went to work, and he put things in place for me. Like I said, nutritionist and how I eat. I ate the same thing every morning after workouts for like 3 years straight. It was eggs, ham, Ensure with my vitamins every morning. I can remember it, and I actually can cook it now because I can just exactly how he did it. Yeah, so I did that for about three years until I was about 13, 14, and then I went to high school and took it from there.
Yeah, you're truly the 1%.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we see and hear stories of parents who invest in their children,
Yeah.
only to hope that they make it to the pros one
Yeah.
day. And I think it brings me to, I read an article where your father said, look, we're entering the portal because we're chasing our career.
Mm-hmm.
This is our career path, professional development.
Yeah.
You guys trusting in Lincoln Riley and making sure you put yourself in the best position to be where you are now today. In terms of credit, your dad's a former athlete,
Mm-hmm.
and so is your mother. Like, how much credit do you give your father for, instilling and putting all that trust and faith in you and getting you to the point where you are now?
Yeah. He's taught me a lot, learned a lot from him. From that standpoint, the trust I would say the trust from him, and what they instilled in me. I think it comes straight from that, how good of a job they've done, preparing me for situations like this, getting me with the best trainers, getting me with the best nutritionist staff, getting me, and even when I was younger, my dad allowing me to come to his business meetings and skip out of school. And weirdly enough, you think that you don't learn enough or learn things from that. Even though I was playing on his BlackBerry, playing the little game with the little scrolling thing, when you stop playing that for a quick second and how many meetings I went to. His leadership, controlling meetings, watching him work and watching him do things. Watch my mom, how charismatic she is, how she loves to take care of everybody. I think it comes from being able to watch them. I think that's something that I do very well, is kind of sitting back and watching and learning. My dad always would say that you don't always have to learn through your own mistakes. You can learn through somebody else's. And so that's something that I do a lot. And so learning from other people's mistakes, other people's bad habits, other people's things like that. It keeps me on the right path. It keeps me going, because I don't have to learn from my own mistakes. I don't have to learn from something that I may have done bad. Even though obviously everybody does things bad and not the right way, but learning from other people's mistakes and how it can translate to your life and make yourself better. And so watching him was huge for me, and watching my mom, of how she loves people and takes care of people, was huge for me.
Was it okay? Because they invested a lot of time, and I would guarantee a lot of money into you. Could you be like, hey, I'm about to slide to this party on Friday night, or spring break, I'm about to hit it. Like, you good?
Yeah, I could. I saw. Funny enough, I lived in D.C. Because traveling from Maryland to D.C. at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. is an hour and a half ride. With traffic, with no traffic, it's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. And so I actually got an apartment in D.C. in high school. Parents trust me with that from when I went to high school to the end of my high school career. So I was living there alone. I was able to do anything I wanted to, but the things that they instilled in me, the things that they trusted me with, I wasn't the same person I am now, the same person I was then. I understand what I've set myself out to do, and what I've been set out to do, and so I don't put those things in danger, and I definitely don't put the people around me that may have same goals or similar goals or goals. I don't put those things in danger. So if we went out and it was a Friday, Saturday after game, and I was in high school, even though I lived by myself and all this other stuff, and I had so much freedom, if it was time to go, it was time to go. And you rally up your guys and you get up out of wherever you are, before it gets too late, before bad things happen, or foolishness happens at parties or events and things like that. So it's still the same thing.
How has having some of that freedom, you talk about the preparation of your father, watching your mother, the way that she loves on people, the way that she takes care of people, how have those things played into your leadership? I remember hearing you talk to Louis Riddick, and he asked you, what are they going to get with Caleb Williams? What do you want to show people? And you said, I want to show how I interact with my guys. I want to show how I can lead. When you look back at your upbringing, your experiences, how have those things influenced you as a leader of a team?
It's impacted me tremendously through my parents, of how they've led me, how they lead people. My mom's also she used to be at least a daycare owner, and so she was always in the daycare, treating people and kids that weren't hers as if they were hers, and taking care of them, fixing her own recipes and foods and things like that that I would eat at home. And then my dad leading his business meetings. My dad, being a strong-minded black man that walks the beat of his own drum, maybe in a profession that, many years has not been, very, very supportive of black men. Been in real estate development for, I guess, 30 years now. So, I think 30 years back, being in real estate development and being successful is, you have to walk to your beat of your own drum. And so, in those ways, it's been tremendous for me, for many things that y'all may see me do, or may see in media that I've done, for whether it's my guys, taking my guys to Heisman with me. And, if they weren't coming, I wasn't going to go. Taking the guys to go paintballing just to have fun. No cameras other than, the little fun montage we made for ourselves. Shooting each other with the paintball guns, but nothing was posted. Nothing was, other than maybe stories. But, not doing it for anything, to just, care for my guys, take care of my guys, enjoy, build relationships and bonds. Because those are the most important things, whether you're a businessman, whether you're a football player, QB, the relationship and bond that you have with your guys is most important.
I think since you won the Heisman, people assume if you stay healthy, continue to play how you can, you'd be the number one overall pick. I have an opportunity to be. And so from that, you know, there were early articles that you might come back to school. There have been things said that, you know, being drafted number 1 overall, your father pointed to the situation that Bryce Young was in, who also has an amazing black father who we interviewed before the draft last year. When you hear some of the vitriol, right, and the pushbacks and criticism of the way your parents have dealt, you know, your father, mostly Carl, has dealt with some of the things as they pertain to you, what have those conversations between you and him been like about ways to handle them?
Him and I talk, and we have grown man talks about anything and everything, business, family, people, football, teams, and coaches, and we have real talks. We don't shy and hide from each other. It's my guy. It's my dog, you know, so to have those real grown man talks is really important in our relationship, and so we have those talks about all of it, and it does us a great job, him and I and my family, because it also, you know, helps us keep all of us on the same path, same page, same track, because that's the most important thing. If you don't have, and the cliche thing is if you don't have those people saying things, if you don't have people speaking on you, if you don't have, you know, whether it's good or bad, of possibly going number 1 or something stupid that comes up in social media, if you don't have those things, then you really ain't popular. You really ain't doing something. Yeah. So if you go and look, I got something probably every day right now. Yeah. You know, to look at those things in that lens, it makes things a lot easier to deal with. There's no extra pressure at it because I know who I am. I know how hard I work. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know the people around me. And you know, you take the emotion out of it and you look at it from a different way, and you know, you deal with it that way.
The social media stuff and the memes and the comments and all, why the hell do you young boys care about that shit?
I don't care about it. I enjoy responding because it's
I love that. I'm the same way.
Because I enjoy it because it's just like it's fun. It's like, it's not like it doesn't make me think about anything. Like my most recent thing that I put out about the adversity thing or whatever it was. If it's something where it's somebody's opinions, I don't care. Opinions are opinion. People have, you know, if you think somebody's supposed to go number 1, cool, whatever. But if you're saying stuff like the adversity thing, you know, and I have facts for you. You know, if there's facts to it, then I'm going to respond. And so I put a fact of what adversity means, and I put a fact of my last 3 years in. And I was in the definition. You know when somebody pulled the definition out? And I was so bored because I was in Jacksonville. I was done with my meetings through Zoom. I was done with my workouts for the morning, and I was just laying in bed. I was probably eating my bento box kind of snack middle of the day, and I was bored. So I was laying in bed and I was just bored. And I said it too. I said, I'm bored right now. I want to respond. And so I responded, and I also respond in harmless ways. I don't attack people, anything like that. That's not how I do it. I just kind of be a smart ass about it. I went to Gonzaga College High School, and I went to the University of Southern California, and so program-wise of school, I may not have graduated from USC yet because I'm leaving early, but I'm not a dumbass. Yeah. So
smart. I'm smart, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, so, let's understand.
And people act like they don't. Everybody acts like they don't see it. You know, you do see it. You may not see as much as people think, but you see some stuff. And so, I respond just every once in a while, just for trolls and jokes and to enjoy. I mean, don't make things bigger than, you know, what they are. Don't make them more stressful. Don't make them more, you know, pressurized than they are. You know, enjoy life, be who you are, and live on.
Spoken like a true quarterback. I think earlier you mentioned relationships and bonds.
Yeah.
And I spoke about you guys trusting Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
You know, you entered the portal strictly for a career path, business decision for the most part. But I'm sure it had to be some sort of culture shock or change from Oklahoma to here in LA. How were you able to maintain and increase your high level of performance? You did a Heisman Award to Camp, Maximum Player of the Year, all those different things that followed you.
when I got here, and when I was, I lived in D.C., I went to Oklahoma, then I came here, and it goes back to this, what my parents instilled in me, and understanding the place that I want to be, the situation that I want to be in. None of this was a culture shock to me, because I understood where I was going, what I wanted, and how I was going to do it and go about it. So I think those are the biggest things, because I'm a normal guy. I go out rarely. I play video games. I like to drive. I'm a foodie, all of that. Like, my other side is football. And so just a normal guy. I don't get all into the stars and the Hollywood stuff. I kind of, maybe seen, I probably never seen anything on me because I stay out of everything and out of the lights and cameras and stuff. And so as much as I can.
You gotta hit them streets, man.
Yeah, as much as I can.
He actually doesn't have to hit the streets.
Streets, Caleb. What you doing?
And so being here, it wasn't a change for me. It wasn't a culture shock, because I've been doing the same thing since high school, Oklahoma, and now here. It's you have a goal in mind, you have things in mind that keep you on path. It keeps you out of all the BS that happens. Everybody, when I was coming here from Oklahoma and DC, because I was only in Oklahoma and it's a small town, and then coming from high school, when you come to the big city of LA, everybody's kind of worried about you. Everybody's this and that, and you don't get caught up in all this stuff, and you supremely focus on one thing, one goal, one path.
You were growing up in D.C. Were you a Redskins, now the Washington Commanders? Were you a fan? Maybe you probably even saw RC play out there.
This is baby.
I mean, he had the football since he was two. Child. He's been holding the ball since he was
22. My dad tried to raise me to be a Redskin fan, is what I knew it as back then.
Right.
Now Washington Commanders. I couldn't get into it. I don't have a team now. My team was Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was there. Because of Aaron Rodgers. I'm a player guy, and Aaron Rodgers is my guy, but I couldn't join the bandwagon. I'm still an Aaron Rodgers fan. He's still my guy, but I couldn't join the bandwagon of becoming a Jets fan. I couldn't do it. So I'm still an Aaron Rodgers fan. If he's playing for somebody, I'm rooting for him and things like that. So that's my answer to that.
You know what happens? You make all these off-platform throws, and you do some of the things that you can do with improv, and people compare you. Right now, Patrick Mahomes is the gold standard at the position. The closer we get to the draft, you are hearing that comparison more, the Aaron Rodgers comparison. As someone who grew up a fan of Aaron Rodgers, when you hear things like that, what does that make you feel?
Makes you feel good. So I mimic my game after, it's like the
Kobe MJ.
It's like the Kobe MJ kind of thing, where you watch and you mimic and you okay, I'm gonna go try this while I'm training. I'm gonna go try this little foot pop. I'm gonna try this, throwing my body this way and throwing it back over my head this way, and like he did versus the Vikings, in between 2-3 guys with a D in his face and things like that. So when I was like his second year in the league, third year in the league, so just trying things like that at a young age, trying things that Patrick Mahomes does, trying things that Tom Brady does. Watching Tom Brady, and you can see in his eyes like, okay, this is a switch that happened when So it's like I said, sitting back, watching, learning, taking in what I can take in and adapt to my game in my best way possible and make it my own. And some of it may look like some of what Pat does, some of what Aaron Rodgers does, because they're the best. And to be the best, you want to learn from the best. To be a leader, you got to first be a follower. And so, with that, I watch those guys, I follow those guys, their steps and things like that. So, to get to that point, to get to where they are, winning Super Bowls, being MVPs, or throwing these crazy passes and things like that is where I want to be. I want to win Super Bowls. I want to be up there with those guys competing versus them.
So growing up, I loved Michael Jordan. He was my favorite basketball player. Then it was Kobe Bryant, probably because Kobe mimicked his game so closely. Also the killer instinct. I tried a lot of times, Caleb, to go outside and do Michael Jordan moves. It ain't work because I wasn't talented enough.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you say, some of the things you see in my game does look like who they are and things that they've done, you got to have a certain talent level to do that. Aaron Rodgers was not only talented, but he won a Super Bowl. I know because I was there and I was on the other team. Right? I had planned interceptions for 2 weeks and I had it right. He just threw it better. You once said, though, you only play this game for championships. There's nothing else. And this year you're playing against Washington, Michael Penix Jr. Listen, I got to see you play in person. Mm-hmm. You were really good. Your defense stunk. Mm-hmm. Right? So it was a lot of times that you guys would play well. You give up points. At the end of that game, you share an emotional moment with your mom. And there's all sorts of criticism about the way that could have been perceived from a leadership standpoint, from an emotional maturity standpoint. You come out and speak on, no, I think it's important that we focus on mental health. I think it's important that you show those emotions. Were you surprised, or how surprised were you with some of the fallout from that?
Yeah, just a little bit. Not much, because since I was 4 when I lost, I cried. And so it didn't bother me, but the fallout that everybody kind of I don't know, it struck gold, I guess, for people and things like that. And so one thing about me is my guys know I care. So that's one. And then the second part of that was that one looked so much more than the other ones. Because, I've been on the internet before with Jordan crying emoji and right next to my picture and stuff like that. I got some funny memes. I do. My homeboy behind the set sends me all of them. and so we both die laughing at them. When we're sitting here chilling on the couch, we both die laughing at them. And so that one hit home for me because I understood that it was getting to the end point of the year. I wasn't able to reach a championship in possibly my last game, or one of my last games. And so that's why that one hit so heavy and why it looked so exaggerated and things like that, because it hit me really hard right after the game, because I understood my college career and my guys that I've been with, for 3 years, 2 years is coming to an end for me. And going 6-3 at that time, you understand that there's no national championship. And so, especially in college, it beat me up pretty bad right there in that moment. So that's why it looks like that. But one thing, like I said, my guys know I care, and winning is the most important thing to me. I appreciate all the awards, but I will say this about the awards: none of y'all saw me cry when I got the awards.
You choked up at the Heisman.
Yeah, I was talking about my mom. I choked up.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't. You didn't see no tears.
No.
Is that one of those things though? Like you feel the emotion because like I've had it before. Like you feel the emotion, you're able to fight the emotion, and then you see the one person you can be most vulnerable with.
I was actually. Like, I knew we lost because the game, it was like 10 seconds left.
Right.
And I was sitting over there just like, and I was beat up. I was defeated right there in that moment. I was good. I didn't have it. I didn't start doing all of that until I got up there. And so I was walking over to her. I was good. Then I hopped up and I touched my mom, and I just lost it. Because in my mind, I was going through everything. I was like, this is the, coming near the end for me. I can't even, I can't get to the Pac-12 championship. I can't go to national playoffs, national championship. And then now, I'm just contemplating like this is, it's in. And so, I was good. And I got up, I jumped up. As soon as I jumped up and I leaned back and I touched her, it just went.
You can tell she felt it too. She put the...
Yeah, as soon as she felt me, she just put the thing over me. Shout out to that little kid. It was actually a little kid's posted that. I met him after the game too. So I lost it once she touched me, and so that's how it went.
Bro, now you gotta cry in the league.
Yeah,
you set the precedent of crying. You gotta keep crying.
They're gonna think you don't care about winning.
They don't think I care about winning. But there is a time and a place for it, and understanding. Even if it's not, it's raw emotion. It comes out right then and there. But being able to control that, hold it in, maybe till you get home, maybe till you, whatever the case may be. Because it affects me. It bothers me tremendously. And so, that's what wakes you up every day, gets you up every day, gets me up every day.
he gonna have a suite now, Freddie T. His mama not gonna be that close to the field.
Yeah,
He's not
sure.
gonna see him
turn around and get
I see one of these.
Right, we need binoculars. Well, but no, crying is okay.
Yeah, no,
like you said, it's a raw emotion.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you do it uncontrollably and you go out and have a crazy game.
Yeah.
You know, I remember being there a few times, just on the sideline crying for no reason, like what's going on. Those were the times I probably had my best game. But you mentioned, RC mentioned Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix. Those guys are in your draft class.
Yeah.
They got you last year.
Yeah.
So you got plenty of time to pay them back. But just those guys, like, what do you see in quarterbacks like that? Guys that are, you know, on the other side of the field, you're going out there to compete against them. Penix, Bo Nix. And I also want to throw in another young player you played last year, Shador Sanders. You know, a lot of Heisman talk considerations. Like, if you had to kind of break down those games, what do you see in those type of players coming from the quarterback side?
I met Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and Shador at the Pac-12 Media Day. Met them all there. Obviously, we kept it cordial and things like that. There's no hate or anything like that between any of us. But they're not, you know, my friends and things like that. Because I got to go out there whatever date it was to go handle business. And so that's how they, you know, they probably deemed it as too. So Michael Penix, out of this draft class, is one of my, you know, my favorite QBs. I mean, the dude could flat out spin it.
Yeah.
I say it to people when they ask me, who's your top list? Michael Penix is up there. I've seen him do it, you know, right in front of me, spin it. You know, you've seen it on TV and things like that. So he's one of my favorite guys in this draft class. Bo Nix, Mr. Efficient. He's efficient. He's an efficient guy. When we were playing with him or playing against him, you know, was throwing the ball very well, very efficiently. To whether it's running backs, you know, deep balls, intermediate, things like that. So they got us. They had a good defense too. I'm excited to see what they do this year. I know they were kind of in the same process as us.
Yep.
I guess 3 years ago now, kind of in a rebuild, you know, for their first year. So excited to see what they do and going against. I don't even know what conference they're in anymore now. Or
Big 12.
Who's in? Yeah, Big 12. Going against those guys and getting after it. So. New landscape of college, and you know, with Shador still in college, and then these other guys going, so I'm excited for all of it.
There's a saying, right? Every day is an interview, and that's how I live life. Anybody you meet, everybody you talk to, I feel like you're constantly being critiqued, and that conversation is going to carry somewhere else. Whether I shake your hand, Alicia's hand, Megan's hand, somebody's going to say, "Okay, I met Ryan Clark, and this is what I got from him." You decided to not do medical or workout at the combine. But still, you were one of the last people to leave the field. And there's a video of you shaking everyone's hand. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you were saying to them, whether you were thanking them, just, you know, saying goodbye or any of those things. But that said a lot to me about the person. Mm-hmm. We're going to hear about the leader. We're going to hear about the quarterback. I can turn on the film. I know what he looks like. Unfortunately, I had to see it twice. My son played for Arizona State. Yeah. You know, so I was there twice. I remember you threw a jump pass from the end zone in the cover 2. It's a 6'3" corner. And I was like, this is a pick. Yeah, I was like, this is a pick. It's like, nobody throws. That's just a stupid pass. Yeah. And then it's completed. And I remember talking to my son after the game. I was like, yeah, he's the one. Yeah. Right? I was like, if you can do things like that, he's the one. But all of those things still will never outweigh who the person is. Yeah. You know, and that said a lot about you, to me, that you were willing to do that. Truly, was that something you had a conversation about? Or was it just a reaction to the person that Caleb Williams is in that sort of environment?
I didn't have any conversations with anybody. I shook as I did here today, I shook and dapped up everybody. Mm-hmm. As I came in, all the combine people, all the teams and their general managers down to their, you know, their scouts and whoever was in the building and meeting rooms when I was there. So, no, I just always have respect for people. My dad doesn't tolerate disrespect. That was instilled in me. I hate disrespect. And my mom is a daycare owner, so this goes pretty heavily in the daycare. Is the golden rule. Treating people with respect and also the golden rule go hand in hand. And so that's, you know, that's kind of how you deal with it. Nobody talked to me about media, or nobody talked to me about doing that with, you know, shaking everybody's hands or staying after and or just treating people well. No, it's just kind of how I go about my daily life.
How does Caleb Williams handle disrespect, though? Like that, I am a respect person.
Yeah.
I am ultra polite because I want to make sure that if someone disrespects me, they had to work for it.
Yeah.
Right? That they had to force themselves into disrespecting me. So now if I slap them, I don't feel bad.
I don't feel no way.
Right? So how does Caleb Williams
I just
handle
can't slap
disrespect?
nobody, but...
Well, you're going to have too much money. Just slap people. How have you learned to deal with disrespect? Because you've gotten a lot of it, whether it be internet, but also just people speaking about you as they analyze your game and the person that you are.
I don't mind confronting people. That's one. Two, and that's more on the, if I know people or if I'm going to have to see people around, whatever the case may be, I don't mind confronting people. Guys on other teams and stuff, I keep quiet. I hold grudges. I hold all of that. And so when I see you, I'll remember it. And so when we get on the field and things like that, you'll hear from me. And so that's the football aspect of it. And the other side of it is kind of like how I deal with the media stuff. If it's just somebody that, just wants to say something, has an opinion, whatever. But if it's somebody that has some influence, I'm not one to sit back and allow you to tarnish what I've earned and worked for, and how I live my everyday life, which is with respect, caring and love, and taking care of people and working hard. And so, people coming out and saying stuff that have influence. So say if I didn't meet you, or even if I did meet you and you came out, you had an opinion, all good. You say what you want to say. But if you say things that isn't true, say things that, especially after you meet me or met me, that isn't true, then you'll hear from me. And so, whether it's through publicly or whether it's through actually me just reaching out, if I had your number, you get a call from me. If I didn't have your number, and it was posted, you hear from me publicly. And so that's kind of how I deal with it.
Yeah, I say in doing the job, I try not to speak to people's intent and character.
Yeah.
Because the film doesn't tell me that.
Yeah.
I can only speak about what the film says. Now, in knowing you, I can be like, hey, Caleb, look, this is what I saw.
Yeah.
What do you think? And if you tell me now, or see that wasn't it,
Yeah.
then that's what I go with. There was speculation and people try to make it, somebody else might go number one. We've known this the entire time, right? Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears trade away Justin Fields. On that day, when that happens, what's your first thought?
I was in the car. I was driving to a business meeting, and I'm listening to music, bobbing my head. I probably got on Drake. I'm chilling. I'm in West Hollywood area driving to a business meeting, and all I see is my phone explodes. Whether it's actual just regular fans or whether it's ESPN, whether it's whatever it case may be, and I pick up my phone and it's going off, and I'm trying to figure out what just happened, because it went from just nothing, maybe a couple of texts, to just like phone just. I end up calling a couple of people, and it's just like, well, we know where their mind and heart is at this instance. Let's prepare, get ready, and handle things accordingly, and still do our due diligence on the situation and things like that. But in that moment, it was just like, it was kind of like, wow, because I didn't do my top 30 visit yet. They didn't have my medicals and things like that, so they have it on now, but it's nothing. But it was and I had a good time with my top 30. But yeah, it was interesting right then in that moment, because it was just so unexpected in that instance.
The most, I don't say pressure. He was just so cool. So I want to say the pressure.
What up, Charlotte? What up, Xavier?
Different times coming off the Heisman season, going to the next season, or transferring, having to, I don't say prove yourself at USC, or now jump to that next level. Like the pressure on you, or the excitement, I would say, from you. At what level is the biggest one, or where was that time when you might have been up a little late at night, or you were just like, I gotta get this?
I set my goals. I set my season goals every year, and then I set my long-term goals. Other than that, I mean, chasing those things, or trying to get those things don't bother me or cross my mind as much. Whether that's the way I walk, the way I talk, how I act, how I treat people, and then how I get on that field and how it's a different person. That's kind of how I go about it. So I don't, the gotta get all those things. Like I set number one. I set number one on my list a long time ago. And once I hit them or once I pass them and can't do them again, I remove them. And once I achieve them or once I pass them.
Your list is your screensaver.
Yeah, my list is my screensaver. And
Can I see it?
yeah, sure. I should know. Text box.
Yeah, don't do that now. That now.
I wanted to got some pictures of that.
Yeah, so
it is in there.
My everyday screensaver. I have a few other ones on here.
He's way more focused than I ever was.
He's way more focused than you are now.
Without a doubt.
This was last year, so I change it every year depending on what I can and cannot reach.
Don't get bored with consistency.
Oh yeah, those are my reminders for myself. But I set my goals. I have certain quotes, and then I get after it. I feel as if I do these things. So if I won a second Heisman last year, and I won a national championship, then all the self goals, and I try and preach this to some of my guys and the team and stuff, that if we've reached these team goals, all your self goals get accomplished. So set your self goals, but achieve and reach for a team goal, because all the self goals they all get swept under that. And so that's how I do it for team wise. And then obviously some of the self goals, like the first pick is a self goal. Super Bowls is a team goal, so all the MVPs get swiped under that. All the Super Bowl MVPs get swiped under that. All the passing yard leaders, all the whatever case maybe gets swiped under that list. And so that's kind of how I do my goals. So getting it always ends up being getting the team goal for me.
Would a nail say number one pick next week?
Probably, maybe.
I tell him, because I don't talk behind his back. I don't like the colored nails.
That's cool.
That's just Channing. He's just Channing.
Jimmy Butler does it too.
Yeah, that's fine.
He paints his nails.
That's
Yeah.
The kid from Duke got a huge deal because of it.
McCain.
You said that you're gonna be clean this week, and you said wait till you see what I got, what I wear. You had the Gucci shoes, but you said and your ladies.
Better than that.
So can we get a preview here? What you gonna be wearing?
The suit is gonna be navy blue.
Okay.
Some of the accents are gonna be silver. It's very classy. It's very Ryan Clark. God, he come on the show anytime. Ryan Clark suit. But it is unique in the details of it. So when you see it, it's very classy. It's very. I'm going to a business meeting, but it's also like it's me. I'm number one.
Have you thought of that moment though? I know Roger has a back injury. I expect that he'll be there. But when you hear Caleb Williams, when you're named in the first pick of the
2024 NFL draft, yes, I do. I say it to myself. Just like I say, I'm gonna go out there and win. For every game, I tell myself I've already won, because it's always a self-build, a confidence thing. Confidence is huge when being in a position of QB, or being in a position of a guy that you want to go out there and win games, win big games, things like that. So having your own self-confidence and then feeding that into your guys. I have it on the list right here. I do think of that. I always like to speak things also into it, have it in my mind, consistently speak it out loud, say it to myself. I say it in the car, I smile about it, and I do it kind of often.
Your life is certainly gonna change as soon as they call your name in a very positive and a good way. We've been fortunate to have you're the third Heisman winning quarterback that we've had on. We've had Bryce, we've had Jaden, yourself. We've also had C.J. Stroud on here, who's runner-up Heisman. looking at what CJ was able to do in his rookie year, does that excite you, letting you know that you can potentially do the same thing? Does it give you better confidence? How do you, like, what sort of
I want to do
feedback?
better. It's my thing. The plan is to go. If that's the plan is for the Bears to draft me, the plan is to go as far as you can possibly go, all the way to February. And until things go the opposite way, then you deal with it. But if they draft me, my plan is to go work my ass off, get after it, get in the playbook really heavily, and handle things the way things need to be handled, mentally, physically, nutrition and treatment, and sleep and all of that, handling all of that the way it needs to be handled, and get as far as I can and close as I can to February, probably 12th, 13th of next year in NOLA.
Yeah, my hometown, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But you got old lady, man. You can't play video games and then bento boxes all day.
Yeah.
You got old
I
lady?
got an old lady.
Oh, okay.
It's
That's
been a
about
while,
to- it's
too.
about to
I
get,
got an old lady. I got an old lady. Yeah, so I've known her for 6 years. I haven't been dating her for 6 years. Known her for 6 years. She moved back home to Europe. She was from Europe, Danish, and known her for 6 years. She moved from D.C. because her dad had a job in D.C. Moved from D.C. back home. So I met her in D.C. at the end of her tenure, dated for a little bit. Then we ended it. Kept in strong communication throughout 4 years, and then we're back dating again. So
That's cool, boy. You just heard some
Hey,
Chicago and LA women's feelings.
So USC's over here, right?
the red building's over there.
So the red building's over there.
You can see the stadium.
Oh wow! Yeah, so you can see the stadium from your apartment. The kid that had an apartment in high school, right? The Gonzaga.
It was just like this, but not as high.
I don't know. I'm about to ask you though. Did you ever though, like dream? Because you looking at your phone and the way that you're setting your goals. Did you dream of things like this? Being able to have a place that looks over the stadiums that you play in.
No, I dreamed of championships. I know the championship thing is for me. I know that all of that brings everything in full circle. So the self goals of football, but it also brings everything else. And so with that understanding, you just keep playing ball, you keep having fun, you keep loving it, keep digging in, and win. Just win. And it does a lot for you. Football's taught me more than many people in my life. It's been an honor to play football for as long as I've been able to play, and it's been a long time coming to be in this position, and it's going to be an even longer time coming to be in the position that I want to be in many years from now. So I never dreamed of living in the skyrise. I may dream of like living in places. Like I did want to live in LA. I never dreamed of kind of living like this. I want to dream of living out I dream of living out the country also when I'm done playing and disappearing like Tim Duncan. I didn't dream of this. I dreamed of just being my best, being number one, being the best in the world, and winning. That's kind of how my life goes. Everything for me is winning. Whether I'm playing one of my favorite card games, Monopoly Deal, or whether I'm playing video games, or whether I'm playing out there at the Coliseum, or maybe in Chicago. So
If you are the number one pick, Keenan Allen, who is now a Chicago Bear, was at your pro day.
Yeah.
DJ Moore played extremely well last year. Cole Kmet, Ryan Poles, and the Chicago Bears have tried, at least and to me succeeded in making Chicago a place that has the requisite pieces to have a young quarterback be successful. Yep. If that is the case, if and when, I think when we hear Caleb Williams' name called first, how does he help Chicago win its first championship since 1985?
85 Bears. One is through my care. One for football. One for my teammates, but also something that I've done myself is community-wise bring the whole landscape together. I did it at Gonzaga. I've done it here at USC. I mean, we've sold out
What up,
games
Libra?
here at USC, and that hasn't been done in a couple of years. Bringing the fans back, bringing the love and joy. One of the things that I get a lot is kind of what we spoke about when I first sat down. Is I get a lot of like thank yous from USC fans and people around the city, not just at the games, but I mean I'll be at Honor Bar and Bev Hills, and I get a random thank you for doing this for USC. So bringing the community and showing my care for all three levels of for myself, football, for my teammates, and then for the community that makes game days, the game, everything, the city lively and fun and enjoyable and all of that. That's kind of three things is care. Care goes a long way. Places that love football, places that care about football, places that have the same goals and aspirations in mind.
Caleb, the beauty of the pivot of this show is we get an opportunity to meet amazing people as guests, and also get an opportunity to explore their lives and allow them an opportunity to speak to that. Not just give the fans or viewers snippets, much like what you usually see or hear in interviews. It seems that you've been set up for success, and to this point you've succeeded. But there's always some sort of adversity that we go through in life that has helped us to get there, which leads me to our question we ask all of our guests.
But Freddie T, before you ask that, I know you're going to ask that. Freddie T, this man ain't go through adversity. Didn't you see it? This man's never been.
But that's
how stupid people are. That's how stupid people are.
That's the beauty of just sitting here for however long we have been and hearing your story. Yet no one they don't always get that part of it. Like that's why we ask the guests so they can tell them that part. And usually our younger people, our younger guests, pivot. I haven't probably gotten to that point yet, right? So I guess your biggest pivot in life, which is that one moment that you can go back and say, this is the moment that changed everything, or the one adverse moment, which has led to me being Caleb Williams.
As opposed to who else?
But before you answer that, this book, I want to hear you. I hear your
as opposed to who else?
Onto it. What's the significance and the reminder that this book serves for you?
When I look
Brunson, maybe? Probably
make
not.
Make sure you enjoy and love the man. That's
Luka,
looking back at you.
Possibly.
That's the most important thing for yourself as a person and human throughout this chaotic thing we call life. And so enjoying and loving the man or woman or whatever the case may be of whoever's looking back in that mirror. No matter if it's social media hates you, loves you, or there's some people around you hates you, loves you. When you look in that mirror and you wake up, you brush your teeth, or you say your affirmations, you say this and that about yourself, whatever the case may be, when you hear your own voice that you love that person. So there's only one you. And so take care of that person mentally, physically, and emotionally. And then the pivot part. The pivot part of that question is, I would say, they've all been about football for me. That's been, I remember the team and the coach that coached me when I first started. I can't remember the school that I was at nor the teachers. So that's how much football is, what it does to me and for me and taught me. And so I got two is when I lost to Harrison Bailey, pivoted my mental, my life in an anomaly way that not many people at that age figure out what they want to do. And I told my dad, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be. And then I got benched so I reclassed. So I got benched my first 8th grade year, going into the championship game, because I played other positions before and I could get angry, I can get this and that, and I can go and express that anger, that y'all may understand, playing
defense,
safety and defense and things like that. You can come and you could just release that anger, but being QB, you had to control it and use it and manipulate that anger and energy. And so at that age, I didn't understand, so I got benched by Mark and Russ, my two mentors. And I'll never forget it. The QB that came in, Sky. The only time we scored that game was I came in for a trick play, and we scored. I threw it to Keith, one of my best friends still to this day. I threw it to him. He ran down the right sideline and scored. So it's the only time we scored that game. It was a championship game, and we lost by a lot, and it jacked me up because I did that to myself and to my team, and so I was never again. And so you rarely ever see me raise and get out of, get out of character. And there's times for it. Now that I've gotten older, I understand that. But I got out of character for too much of it, slammed my helmet and things like that. And next game I didn't play, except for that one play. And so, yeah, so that happened. So that's my two when I was younger that changed my life. And then the most recent one was Oklahoma when I didn't start. That one was real tough for me because
when you made a decision to go to Oklahoma and Spencer Rattler was already there.
I don't know, bro. Tatum be choking every year, bro.
Just at the time.
But at the same time, they gave the Indeed last year.
Yeah. Spencer Rattler was a projected first-round pick.
Yeah.
The next year.
Yeah.
You had to pivot because they decided to start the guy that was supposed to be a first-round pick that year. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Why did you choose to go there?
Development.
So you thought that...
I'd known that Lincoln was the best in the country.
So why did it hurt you, though, that the income...
Because I was the best in the country.
Explain that to me. You make a decision to go to the school that has a starter that's coming back, that's supposed to be a first-round pick.
I told many people before I went there, and there's a backstory to it also. Why I was so fired up. I told people before I went there that I was gonna start and play and beat him out. I thought I'd beat him out in spring, and he was projected number one and all of that. So he started for 6 games, and so I prepared. I kept preparing. Lincoln told me keep going. It's something that I didn't understand. Those 2 words I did not understand when he told me because I wasn't asking him. I wasn't coming to him to beg for playing time. I never came to him. I came to him and asked him, how do I do it? How do I beat this dude out? Because he never let me give reps with the first team. He never let me get reps with, the older guys and things like that. So I took advantage of my reps. I got after it, put my head down. At a certain point, I felt like, I beat him out. And I got to, at some point, and I went up and asked Link again. I said, how do I do it? How do I beat him out? How do I, what can I do to put myself in a position that I believe that I should be in and want to be in and trying to get to? And so he told me, keep going. He didn't give me any other advice. So that's his words that he told me. At the time, I was so angry, so frustrated because I didn't feel like that wasn't what I wanted to hear because I felt like I was the best. I felt like I could have helped us win, all the games, getting more reps, getting later in the season, and I'm ready for those moments, later in the season. So I didn't get those reps. So I kept preparing as best that I could. So when I had my moment, there was no way that he was ever going to get it back. So it goes back to I watched and learned Tom Brady. For Drew Bledsoe is when you prepare it. When you get your moment, because you never know how long it's going to be. You never know what's going to happen. But you get your moment. You don't give it back. And so that was my mindset and plan. And I went there saying that I was going to beat him out. And I feel as if it didn't happen. So I had to pivot. I had to change. I had to keep going and adjust to what the position I was in. Be the same person every day. But when I got my shot, nothing else was going to happen other than me being the guy.
Can you take me back to because I've been wanting to ask this. I've been trying not to be a football nerd because I am. 4th and 1, playing against Kansas.
Yeah.
Guys are, I think, more than 20-point favorites. The game is tight.
Yeah.
I think y'all up by like 5 at this point.
That game was so weird.
Can you take me through, handing the football off and how it eventually got back in your hands?
Yeah. So before the play, Lincoln calls this play where I don't have an option to do anything with the ball. I have to hand it and disappear. Maybe get a block. So I look at Lincoln and he's giving me a play. And Lincoln and I, we had a great relationship. We were we were one, and he gave me the plate, and I look at him, and I'm like, I'm shaking my head, no.